I know many of you enjoy Flack, so I'll let you enjoy the view for a few minutes. A few seconds. A few minutes would be excessive, wouldn't it? He's an idiot. So, quick prerequisite to this video. As you can see, I have two beautiful frames here with my Evo colours hung next to them. Khaleesi's just got a stripe on her purple collar. Flack has got 4 on his blue collar, he's ready to go purple, and Eden has not got anything, hence the empty frame that will eventually have something in it whenever he's good enough. But unfortunately, as of right now, he's not good enough, and he's deep into prison phase, which makes this a great time to start discussing it. So, with that said, prison phase is one of them things that is hugely misunderstood. It's warped, and it's warped by other trainers as well, and they might call it different things. Prison phase is just something I call it. It's not a coined term, it's not important, it doesn't matter. People have it misunderstood with the thought process of your dog must sit in a cage at all times and sit there and do nothing and come out and train and go back in the cage. And whilst that can be true for some prison phases, for some types of dogs, for some people, for some relationships, it isn't what prison phase is. The overarching methodology and thought process behind prison phase is taking everything that dog enjoys in his life externally of me and replacing it with something that is with me. So it's not about removing the things he enjoys, it's about swapping them out for something that I can provide for him. Prime example, Flack is not in prison phase, by the way. Flack has a very free life now. He's getting older, his engagement's great, I don't need any more. So he can do things of his own accord, he can plod around, he can charge about, he's got a bone in his mouth now. He has a lot more freedom, and this is something else that the prison phase is absolutely about long term. We'll discuss short term, we'll discuss long term. So let's just say Flack likes biting things. Flack likes chasing a ball. Flack likes running around like an idiot. Flack likes food. 4 things. Let's break them down. Flack likes biting things. What would I not do in prison phase? This. Flack is currently biting a bone. He enjoys it. It's great. And I have no problem with that. He should enjoy himself. That's an important aspect of your dog's life. And this is what I cannot reiterate enough. Prison phase is not about taking the things off your dog that they enjoy. It's about changing the relationship to them things and pointing them back towards you. I also have made coffee in a beautiful unicorn cup that belongs to my daughter. It is delicious. So, Flack's currently biting something. He likes biting things. If he were in prison phase right now, how could I change that association? How could I change the relationship with biting things? So instead of giving him a bone to just bite, maybe I could play tug with him. Because now this is a game that directly involves me and you. And only me and you. Me and you, me and you, me and you. All the time. You cannot play this game without me. I would take this enjoyment off him and replace it with an enjoyment that is directly pointed at me. Flack likes chasing a ball. Do I just throw the ball down the field? I mean, that kind of involves me. I have to throw the ball, but it's very external of me. It's very down the field. The joy is in running away from me and picking the ball up. The joy very often for dogs is not in bringing the ball back, because bringing the ball back means they lose it. So, flip it on its head. Instead of throwing the ball, I can get a ball on a rope and play with him with it. Start playing with him, giving him a wrestle, having fun. I let go of the ball, I call on him, I get very happy. He jumps back at me, I play with the ball again. Play. Bringing the ball to me and engaging with me doesn't mean the game is going to stop, it means the game is going to start. Then the dog wants to come over, wants to engage with me. Hi, bud. Oh, hi. He wants to be here all the time. Because this circle here, this 5 feet around me is where all his enjoyment comes from when the dog is in prison phase. Now, like I said, Flack gets his enjoyment from many places, and that's completely fine. He's older, he's trained, he's not he's not finished. Now I'm gonna have to battle him off. He's gonna want to clamber on me. He's not finished by any stretch, but he's trained. All his foundations are in. Flack loss. So now I'm playing with the ball instead of just throwing it down the field. What else does Flack like doing? Charging around like an idiot. So loads of people take their dogs to the woods, they charge around, they have a whale of a time. But again, it's very external of you, isn't it? You wouldn't have to be there for the dog to have the same level of fun in that activity. The dog could have as much fun as it wants charging around the woods, whether you were there or not there. So what can I do instead? I could get a flirt pole. Right, without me, the flirt pole doesn't do anything. You can't have any enjoyment with it. You can't have any fun with it. What are you going to do now? You need me as part of this game. What else does Flack like? Food. Food, you all know about this one. Hand feeding your dog. Instead of chucking my food on the floor, prerequisite again, after the prison phase, crack on. I can put Flack's food on this artificial grass and he can snuffle it out and it entertains him for 15 minutes while he finds all the pieces because I sprinkle it everywhere. Great for his brain, great puzzle game, great fun, great work for the dog. But again, it's external of me. I want it to be internal, inclusive of me. Every exercise that I do with the dog is inclusive of me. It needs my input. I have to be there. So I hand feed him. We do tricks. We do spins. We do heels. We do middles. We jump on the sofa and jump off the sofa. It doesn't matter what you're doing with the food. It's just coming from you. Essentially, prison phase has to, the core principle is if you are not directly involved in that activity, it's probably not very good for prison phase. So I don't let my dogs free roam. I don't let my dogs play with each other when they're in prison phase. I don't let my dogs charge around on their own. I don't let my dogs keep a ball in their cage. I don't let my dogs have free access to a toy box. And immediately, a lot of people are like, it's not much life for them, is it? Let's look at it from both angles. Let's say it is a great life for them, and I have an argument for that. There you go, Flack has a ball now. Flack has a ball. Keep note of this, because this will lead us on to our point. Let's say it is a great life, and my argument for that is I'm not taking all the good things off him, I'm just swapping them for things that are more useful and more coherent to both of our goals in life. You want to bite something, I've got something for you to bite. You want to play with something, I have something to play with. You want food, I have food. It just becomes that I am the provider of this, I'm the resource that he wants. Later when you fade the reward out, you are still the resource. It carries on, carries forward. Let's look at the other side of that argument. Well, it's not much life for him, is it? Okay, let's say it's not. Eden is on a very, very strict prison phase. And only because he's a very painfully independent dog. He's very self-assured, he's very self-confident, he doesn't need me for anything. I have to bring him on board a lot. So he's either in a cage or training with me, period, endless. Let's just say, for argument's sake, what are you doing? It's not much life for him. Fine. It's not much life for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, a year. To give him 10 years of freedom. Flack and Khaleesi have infinite freedom. I let them out in the middle of the Lake District. Bop! I open their cages up. They go bowling off. They're not going to bother sheep. They're not going to bother dogs. They're not going to bother horses. They're not going to bother people. They're not going to go near traffic. They're not going to run off. They're not going to get up to no good. They're not going to fall into problems. They're going to stay somewhere around me and explore and sniff and be dogs. So, quick recap on the short term. If it doesn't directly involve you, your dog probably shouldn't be doing it. Now, when do you put your dog into prison phase? If you've got a dog that you want to build more relationship, rapport, engagement with, you should put your dog into prison phase. Eden doesn't have enough yet. It's very good. Any of you that have seen him in person will see that we have a lot more bond than we did 3 months ago, but it's still not there, so I'll keep working. Let's look at the flip side. Long term, when do you take the dog out of prison phase? The short answer to that is that you don't take the dog out of prison phase. The long answer to that is that you adapt your prison phase to suit your needs. So, will I let Flack play with the ball on his own? Absolutely yes. He doesn't chew them, he doesn't trash them, it makes no effect to my engagement at this point. Would I let him have a bone? Yes. Would I let him play with Khaleesi? Yes. Would I let him do this all the time, without fail, without training, without anything? Absolutely not, because I'm going to lose all the work that I've done. So when you're fading your prison phase out, I would advise that you look at removing a thing, i.e., what happens if I just give him a Kong on an evening, or when I go out, or when I leave him in his crate, etc. I mean, much less than that. This is the thing as well, guys. Once you've got your training in, your foundations in, have fun with your dogs. It's not Nazi Germany. Not everything has to be serious and training all the time. Me and Flack have a whale of a time all the time. Me and Khaleesi do. Me and Eden will do once we've got through these foundations. Take one thing out at a time. See how it affects your training. Take another thing out. See how it affects your training. I can give this dog a pretty much free rein. Nobody would notice that he was living in a prison phase. There's just little things that I do. I still hand feed him. I still make sure I play with him with a ball more than he plays with a ball on his own. I still make sure that he doesn't have a bone every single minute of every single day, so he gets a little bit bored. When your dogs are in prison phase, you want them to be bored, because then you come in, oh, hi, I'm the light of the world. Do you want to do something? And they're like, yes, I am bored. And you're like, fucking great, let's go. Happy days, no problem at all. Let's get on with it. So Hopefully that outlines prison phase a bit more for you all. Prison phase is not about locking your dog in a cage and doing nothing with it. That's just not what it is. It's never what it should be. You need to enjoy your dogs. The crux of prison phase, I'll say it one more time, is about taking things that your dog enjoys and putting them onto yourself instead of onto external stimulus. Go and get at it. If you have any questions about it, hit me up in the Facebook group, hit up your division secretaries, hit up Jack, hit up whoever you want to hit up, put posts up, let me know how you're getting on, go and kill it.